Okay, welcome back dear friends. I am Dr. Klim Raza. In this topic today we are going to discuss about the glucose transporters, insulin dependent glucose transporters and insulin independent glucose transporters. So first write please glucose transporter 1. Glucose transporter 1, these are basically insulin independent glucose transporters, and these transporters will help in transportation of glucose into red blood cells, brain and cornea. And remember that red blood cell only they utilize glucose as a source of energy because they lack mitochondria for aerobic metabolism, and they also cannot store energy. So source of energy for RBCs is only the glucose. Brain can also use energy during the starvation by utilizing the ketone bodies as well. So RBCs, brain and cornea, the transporter there is the glucose transporter 1. Number 2, glucose transporter 2. It transport glucose into liver, kidney, small intestine, also pancreas beta cells. Also this transporter is not dependent on insulin, it's independent. Then number 3, glucose transporter 3, it also transport glucose into brain, also in placenta, brain and placenta. So these first 3 are independent. Next, number 4, this one is the special one. The number 4 you have to write in box. The glucose transporter 4 is the only transporter which is insulin dependent. Frequently asked in exams that what is the insulin dependent glucose transporter? So insulin dependent glucose transporter is glucose transporter 4, which help in transportation of glucose into your skeletal muscles plus adipose tissues. So you know, when you are consuming the carbohydrates, it's converted into glucose, and glucose is absorbed in the blood circulation, and when glucose is high in your blood circulation, insulin is released from the pancreatic beta cell. Now function of insulin is to uptake this glucose and store in your liver and skeletal muscle in form of the glycogen. But which glucose transporter is transporting your glucose into skeletal muscle and adipose tissue? That is glucose transporter 4, and during the exercise you can increase the activity of the glucose transporter 4. So this is very important to understand that which transporter is 100% insulin dependent, that is glucose transporter 4. Then next we have got glucose transporter 5. And glucose transporter 5 basically transport glucose, but which type of glucose? The fructose into GIT, also in spermatocytes. Okay, so this is also important. And then next, what is the basically mechanism of the release of insulin from your pancreatic beta cell? Remember, insulin is released. Let me draw one pancreatic beta cell. Suppose this is beta cell of pancreas, and inside this beta cell of pancreas we have got insulin. These are insulin granules. So what is the mechanism of release of this insulin into your blood circulation? That first glucose will enter into pancreatic beta cell, and transporter I have already told you that with the help of glucose transporter 2. Okay, so suppose here you have got glucose transporter 2. This is your glucose transporter 2, and glucose enter into pancreatic beta cell. So glucose entering into pancreatic beta cell, glucose will enter, and in cytoplasm there will be basically the glycolysis process. So glycolysis take place, glycolysis will occur, and ratio of ATP plus ADP is increased. So glucose enter into pancreatic beta cell, then glycolysis occurs, and it lead to increase of the ATP's energy is increased inside cells, and then on the other side of the cell, ATP sensitive potassium channels will get closed. So here suppose you have got these small channels, these are potassium channels. These are potassium channels. So soon ATP production is increased inside the pancreatic beta cells, these channels will get closed because they are ATP sensitive channels. Potassium channel get closed. Immediately after closure of the potassium channels, your calcium channel will open. And here from extracellular environment, calcium is moving inside the cell, and now calcium is increased inside the cell. So this influx of the calcium, soon after the depolarization, lead to release of insulin granules into the blood circulation. So this is the mechanism how insulin is basically released from the pancreatic beta cells. That first glucose enters into the pancreatic beta cell. After glycolysis, ratio of the ATP is increased, and then ATP sensitive potassium channels will get closed, and then calcium influx takes place after depolarization of the cell membrane, and then insulin will release into the blood circulation. So again, that type 2 diabetes mellitus is basically in book sheets written that is a disease of endocrine disorders, but remember it's affecting your complicating your cardiovascular system because there is presence of insulin. Insulin is still produced by your pancreatic beta cell, but your consumption of the carbohydrates, glucose is so high that it's not meeting the demand of the carbohydrates. So if you want to reverse your type 2 diabetes mellitus, then you have to limit your carbohydrates, and then you have to increase the sensitivity of these glucose transporters, especially the glucose transporter 4. Thank you for your consideration.